Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
What's up? This is Out of Wrestling with another video today, and this is going to be about Elimination Chamber 2021, which just took place last night. And I'm going to just be honest with y'all, I watched 5 wrestling matches, but 2 of them were like, less than 3 minutes. This was like one of the shortest pay-per-views I've ever seen in my entire being a fan of wrestling. But the show kicked off with an Elimination Chamber match, the SmackDown version of it. We had Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Daniel Bryan, and Cesaro. Those 6 were in the pod. The winner would, of course, face Roman Reigns for the Universal title right after the match. Cesaro and Daniel Bryan started off, and they had a really good back and forth. I thought, we had seen them on SmackDown. They had their matches on SmackDown were really good. So they went at it for a while, and then Baron Corbin, he ended up being next out. And Baron Corbin was the first one to be eliminated after a swing from Cesaro into a sharpshooter, and Baron Corbin would tap out. My opinion, that was a good call. It was a good use of Baron Corbin. He was in there, but he wasn't a focal point. He was the first one out. He got a little bit of offense in. Great. Next in was Sami Zayn. Zayn came in, and he didn't want to come in. And Daniel Bryan's trying to open the door, and it wasn't Daniel Bryan. It was who was it? It was Corbin. It was Corbin before he got eliminated. He was trying to open the door, and then out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan just comes out and just knees Corbin right into the pod. But then his pod was open on the opposite side, and he didn't realize it. So Sami Zayn turns around, and there's Cesaro, and Cesaro just starts uppercutting the shit out of him. But anyway, Corbin was first out. Next in was Kevin Owens. As soon as Owens gets in, Sami Zayn tries to reason with him. I kind of called that. I figured that they would have like a moment in here, because really they've been kept separate ever since they've been both a part of the SmackDown roster since October. They had a moment. Sami wanted Kevin to team up with him. Kevin wasn't having it, and he beat Sami's ass. Sami took an ass whooping in this match. He really did. Next in was Jey Uso. He was the last one in. I don't really remember if the next person was eliminated before Jey was in. All I do remember is Sami Zayn was the next one out. He got hit with a stunner by Kevin Owens, and he pinned him. I believe that is going to start a feud between them two. Just my opinion. I think that's going to be the WrestleMania match. Next elimination happened very soon after. Kevin Owens, he got his arm trapped in between where the door closes in the Elimination Chamber when Sami Zayn was leaving. And Jey Uso starts ramming the door into Kevin Owens' arm. And he just rams the door into his arm about 5 or 6 times. And then he super kicks him about 5 or 6 times. Throws him in the ring, super kicks him again. Uso splash. Kevin Owens is the 3rd man eliminated. So the final 3 in this match is Jey Uso, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. I really like that. Cesaro, he seems to be getting a really big push, especially after watching this match. Daniel Bryan, of course, he's a household name. He's he's like the Jeff Hardy role of SmackDown. He can always be in the main event when you need him to be, but if you need him to lose, he can also do that. And then we had Jey Uso. Now Jey Uso, he's getting to push himself, being with Roman. Good final 3. The ending sequence happened when Cesaro was swinging Daniel Bryan around. Jey Uso comes out of nowhere, super kick to Cesaro, Uso splash, Uso pin Cesaro. Uso got 2 eliminations in this match. But the end of the match saw Daniel Bryan Jey Uso underestimate Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan ended up winning this match. I didn't have Daniel Bryan winning this match, but I kind of thought he would. But Daniel Bryan won, and he pinned Jey Uso, and out came Roman Reigns. Now, this was the second match of the night, but it didn't last too long, as I said before. This was actually a really fun match, especially for the length of time it was. So the bell rings, and Roman's defending his title against Daniel. I he didn't really run at Daniel. He kind of like jogged towards him, just ran, just kind of went at him. And then Daniel just straight up reversed him into the yes lock. And he was in that yes lock for like a good probably 10, 15 seconds. But Roman got out of it. And, that spelled the end for Daniel Bryan. Guillotine lock. Bryan was done. There was nothing he could have done. But after the match was where shit got interesting. Now, everybody knew Roman Reigns was going to beat whoever won that chamber match, but it was still a good chamber match. But after that, the title match was over with. Edge comes out, lays out Roman Reigns, spears him, and then points at the WrestleMania sign. And that is your main event of WrestleMania for night 2, right there. Roman Reigns and Edge, which night 2 I believe is like whatever main event is night 2, that's like the real main event. And that's just my opinion. So this is gonna be the main event of WrestleMania: Edge and Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Not sure what Roman's gonna do in the meantime. In Fastlane. I mean, really, they shouldn't even have that as a. I don't even think that should be a pay-per-view. But as far as Cesaro and all those other guys go, not too sure. I think it's gonna be Kevin and Sammy. I could see Cesaro and Daniel in some sort of multi-man match for the IC title, along with Big E and some other guys. I can see that. Anyway, the next wrestling match I saw, because I barely saw any matches, but this one was, man, all three of the real matches I saw was really good. It was for the U.S. title. It was Bobby Lashley, Matt Riddle, and John Morrison. Now, I remember seeing a graphic that said it was a to be determined, the third person, because Keith Lee was taken out on Raw by Lashley. But I didn't know that they actually had like a fatal 4-way match. But they had a fatal 4-way match on the pre-show to see who the third member of the U.S. title match was. It was between Elias, Ricochet, Ali, and John Morrison. Morrison got the win after Ali was distracted, ironically, by Retribution. And he rolled him up and he got the win. Hey, I don't know if it's just me, but like John Morrison was really acting like a face tonight, in that match, how he celebrated like he really got one up on Retribution. And then we get to this U.S. title match, and Bobby Lashley, of course, he's hurt business. He's doing hurt business. He's dominating everybody. And but Morrison and Riddle, they start teaming up. And like I know that like that's obvious like what you should do. Like I mean, and they do that. Well, they have the heel and the face, two small guys to fight against the big bad heel. But Morrison was doing it in a way that was just like it was too friendly for him not to be like he was not wrestling like a heel whatsoever in this match. Like he was just not. There was no heelness in what he was doing. Really good match though. The match, I thought it was over when Bobby locked in the hurt lock to John Morrison, but it wasn't. Riddle comes in after he takes MVP's crutch because MVP he's suffering from a knee injury. Riddle takes the crutch from MVP, goes in the ring, breaks up the hurt lock with the crutch by slamming it over Bobby Lashley's back. And Bobby rolls out of the ring. Matt Riddle hits the bro Derek on John Morrison. And Matt Riddle is the new U.S. champion. Actually wasn't expecting that, but I guess I should have thought it was more of a possibility than it was. It's just Matt has lost to Bobby so many times and got beaten up by him so many times. But by the end of the night, we know why he has lost to Bobby a lot and why he didn't pin Bobby to win the title. Because, spoiler, Bobby is no longer going to be in this U.S. title division. Just saying. So Matt Riddle's the new U.S. champion. What does this mean? This is his first title in WWE. I really hope they have a good one-on-one match for him at WrestleMania. I was really hoping my boy Jeff Hardy might have been in the U.S. title picture at WrestleMania, but honestly, don't think that's going to happen. Matt Riddle, I could see him and Ali having a match. Like, Matt Riddle and the Retribution feud. I don't know if that's above or below the U.S. title. There's plenty of heels. Well, I'm not going to say plenty, but there are some heels on Raw he could have a feud with. I could even see a feud with him and Sheamus if Sheamus doesn't go after the WWE title, this next month at Fastlane. If he kind of goes back down the card, I could see Sheamus challenging for the U.S. title. But congratulations to Matt Riddle on winning his first title. I'm actually a really big fan of him. Now we're going to get to the main event. This is the fourth match, really the third, and the final. But there was another one after this, but we're going to get to it. This was the Raw Elimination Chamber match. This was for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre defended his championship against 5 other former world champions in WWE. WWE champions. We had Drew McIntyre, we had Randy Orton, we had AJ Styles, we had Jeff Hardy, we had Sheamus, and we had Kofi Kingston. Now, originally, The Miz was in this match. The Miz was replaced by Kofi Kingston, and I thought it was it was weird. I was like, is he injured? Cause these days you never know why somebody's out or why they're taking, cause they might have COVID. You just never know. But unfortunately, at the end of this night, we know why Miz pulled out of the match. But this match started off. The two that started off was Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. Just two bona fide Hall of Famer legends in the ring. They're going at it. We've seen it plenty of times. Always fun to watch those two go at it. Third in was Drew McIntyre. That spiced things up a lot. It was cool to see Jeff and Drew go at it, honestly, because you don't see it much. They're baby faces. But shit, they were going at it. All three of them. Fourth in was, oh man, it wasn't Sheamus because he was 6. Who came in next? I think it was Sheamus. Pretty sure it was Sheamus, yeah. So Sheamus comes in. No, it was Kofi. It was Kofi. I don't know. I was really high last night. I was so high. But anyway, Kofi or Sheamus came out, and they're just all brawling. I think everybody was in the ring before somebody got eliminated. Nonetheless, no, I'm so high right now, bro. I'm so high. No. Randy and Jeff started the match out. Drew came in, okay? Then Kofi came in. Kofi's in the ring, and he rolls up Randy Orton 1, 2, 3. Orton is eliminated, all right? I was surprised by that. I don't know why they did that, he's in a main event feud with The Fiend, but I thought it was a cool moment that nobody really expected. So Kofi pins Randy, but he rolled him up, so Orton gets right up and he RKO's Kofi. And of course, because it always has to happen, Randy Orton RKO'd Jeff Hardy. Because if Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy are in the same room, Jeff Hardy is getting RKO'd. It's how it is, and it's how it always has been since 2007. Alright, that's just how it is. And it's whatever. So in the ring, we got Drew, we got Jeff, and we got Kofi. Drew is out on the outside, but he's still in the match. Next in was AJ. AJ came in, and I was like, oh, okay. AJ's going to pin either Kofi or Jeff because they've been RKO'd. But he actually went for both pins and then both kicked out. So in the pods are Sheamus and what's his name? That's all. It's just Sheamus. Sheamus is the only one left at this point. Because AJ didn't wait until the time went down. He had Omos open up his pod before the time started. Because, it was obvious that he was coming out next anyway because Sheamus, he earned the right to come out last. So it was actually pretty smart for AJ to do that while everybody was down from the RKO. So we're getting that, and then Kofi Kingston gets a bro kick to the face when Sheamus comes out of his pod. And that does it for your boy Kofi. Kofi, I'm actually glad he got this moment because, he wasn't supposed to be in this match. It's kind of just like the story was of Kofi Mania. He wasn't supposed to be in that match. And he had a good show and he eliminated Randy Orton. So Kofi was eliminated. Now after this, Jeff Hardy went off. Alright, Jeff Hardy was hitting Twist of Fates on everybody. He Twist of Fated he whispered in the wind at AJ. Then he Twist of Fated him, I think is what happened. Then he went outside and he hit a Twist of Fate on Drew and a Twist of Fate on Sheamus. He got on, and then, of course, Jeff Hardy's in the match. So he climbs on, he had to do it. He climbs on top of the pod. Looks like he's about to swanton AJ, but then he turns around. That shit was so, bro. That shit was, I popped when I saw that. He turned around and he just hits a Whisper in the Wind from the top on the Drew and Sheamus. But then he gets right back up, goes in the ring, and hits a regular swanton bomb on AJ. Because AJ was still down. But unfortunately, Jeff Hardy was on fire, but that fire was put out by a Claymore kick as soon as he got up from that swanton. Me, I'm a huge Jeff Hardy fan. He's my favorite of all time. I can say that I was satisfied with how he was done in this match, because obviously he wasn't going to win. Maybe he could have got the pin on AJ first, and then, but nonetheless, he had a really good spot in it, with the Twist of Fates and the Whisper in the Wind off the pod. Really good stuff. So now the final three, we got Sheamus, we got Drew, and we got AJ. Sheamus is pinned by AJ, which I thought was kind of weird, because the real feud is, it's Drew and Sheamus. But hey, AJ ends up eliminating Sheamus, and probably like a minute after that, Drew McIntyre's like, nah, I'm gonna Claymore kick you, and he Claymore kicks him, and Drew McIntyre retains the WWE Championship. Now, I was tipped off by one of my homeboys, that I was gonna be, he said some surprising shit was gonna happen. So I started racking my brain. I was like, Miz could cash in, Keith Lee could come out and have a heel turn, Edge, anything. But then Bobby came out. Man, I popped so hard. I was in shock. I was so happy to see Bobby in the title picture again, because I knew what it meant. Like, everything made sense. Like, that's why he hasn't lost in like 5 or 6 months. That's why he beat Jeff Hardy for a month straight. That's why he beat Riddle for a month straight. Bobby comes out and he just lays out Drew. He spears him. Oh, he hurt lock. I mean, he did everything to this dude. And Bobby's the only guy on Raw that's even believable enough to have a WWE title match against Drew at a Big Show, honestly. Other than Randy Orton. But they obviously can't have that match because they did that feud. Bobby's the only guy. And I've been saying this actually for a while. He should be the person that faced Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. But I thought it was about as 0% chance happening. But looks like we might be getting there. And I was very happy until I heard The Miz's music. And The Miz came out. He went for the pin. Drew kicked out. But he ended up in the DDT. And then the Skull Crusher finale. And The Miz is the new WWE champion. Now, I can't remember a time in wrestling where I was so happy and hyped as I was when I saw Bobby come out and attack Drew, to turn into such a just breath of sadness, tears, disappointment as when Miz came out and ruined it. But tonight is Monday Night Raw, and I've been hearing a lot of people say the same thing. I have the same thought. I believe The Miz is a transitional champion to get the championship on to Bobby Lashley without Bobby pinning Drew, because they want to save that. They want to save that match altogether for WrestleMania. And they had a match back at Backlash. That was like a year ago. Yeah, they're the same characters, but both of them have been built up, because that was the beginning of both of their pushes. They're two different dudes now. I think Bobby is actually gonna beat The Miz tonight on Raw to win that title, and that was the only reason The Miz, cashed in. I'm not saying that this was the plan from the beginning when The Miz beat Otis for the briefcase. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm just saying is, I can see how this is a good thing, but if they have Miz hold it for like a month or 2 or 3 or 4, then no, this is bullshit. But I don't think there's a chance Miz goes into WrestleMania with that title. Regardless if it's tomorrow or whenever, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley is the WrestleMania match. No doubt. Miz is still feuding with Bad Bunny. That's definitely going to be a thing. They're not going to have Damian Priest and The Miz fight for the WWE title at WrestleMania. It's not going to happen. The Miz is definitely not a big enough name these days. And Damian Priest, yeah, he's really good, but he just came in. And you cannot have somebody who just came in, like, literally not even a month ago, be in a WWE title match. Not that he might, not that he don't deserve it, but it's just, he's very new. Miz is going to have something with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. Because Miz is the celebrity guy, and Bad Bunny is the celebrity. It makes sense. Miz is dropping that title in between. What I'm saying this right now, the day after Elimination Chamber, he's gonna lose it between now and Fastlane, which I believe is 3 or 4 weeks away, and it's gonna be to either Bobby Lashley or Drew McIntyre. So that was the end of Elimination Chamber. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. Nothing to complain about except for the end, man. I mean, I really don't. I mean, yeah, I'm complaining, but at the same time, I'm optimistic that it actually means something good for Bobby Lashley. But just to touch on what I think, next up, what the road to WrestleMania is looking like. Like I said, I think we're getting Drew Bobby for the WWE title, and I think we're gonna get Edge Roman for the Universal. I mentioned my piece. I said my piece on the IC and the US titles. Tag titles, no idea. Probably just 2 triple threat matches, or I'm not even sure if they have enough teams at this point on either brand to do that. AJ Styles, don't know what he's gonna do at WrestleMania. Jeff Hardy, not sure what he's gonna do. There's a lot up in the air, man, but this was a good show overall. And I am looking forward to WrestleMania. And obviously I'm looking forward to Fastlane because I like all WWE pay-per-views. But coming out of the night, Roman Reigns is still the Universal Champion. Matt Riddle is the new United States Champion. And Drew McIntyre was still the WWE Champion until he was cashed in on by The Miz. And The Miz is your new WWE Champion. Alright, I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Y'all, let me know what you think about The Miz being WWE Champion. I'm not a fan of it, but I can see why they did it if it leads to what I said before. I'll see y'all in the next one.